Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 99. The album that I'll be reviewing today is Brand Nubian's second album, In God We Trust, released in 1992. Alright, you guys should know who Brand Nubian is. If you don't, check out my one for all album review that I did for Brand Nubian. I think it was like part 90, but just go on my channel and check it out. But anyways, this album leads off where One for All ends. And like I was telling you, the Grand Poobah, the real album review that I did yesterday, check that out if you haven't peeped that. I talked about how when it was making One for All, there was like there was an inner turmoil within the group. Specifically, Lord Jamar and Sadat X, against Poobah, because I guess like I said, Poobah, like when he started with Master Ceremony, so you already had some sort of a status. He had like some respect within the industry and stuff like that. And I guess like they felt some type of way, like he was like egotistical, all that shit. So they broke up, but not really. Like they went their separate ways. Grand Poobah and DJ Alamo went their separate ways, and then hence how you have Grand Poobah's debut album Real to Real, and then Brand Nubian stuck together. It was pretty much Lord Jamar and Sadat X, but they were still carrying the Brand Nubian name. So they recorded this album, they was making the album, stuff like that, and then they added a new member, DJ Sincere, because like I say, DJ Alamo went with Grand Poobah, and they came out with this album right here. Alright, In God We Trust. Came out 2 years later after One for All. Love the cover. It's pretty dope. Like you see like a dollar sign being burned by fire and shit like that. Pretty dope. Kind of sets the tone of the album. You know what I mean? Really love that shit. That's what the back looks like. Yeah, I got it used. Whatever. Bought it years ago, so open what the album looks like. The CD looks like. You see DJ Sincere right here chilling, posing and shit. Open it up. Talks about the album, some of the songs, like what samples that they use and stuff like that. See Sadat X here, Lord Jamar, and DJ Sincere. Singles off the album. There's 3 singles. The first single is Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down. Everybody knows that fucking song. Classic hip hop song. The second one was Allahu Akbar and Love Me or Leave Me Alone. Those are the 3 singles off the album. Alright. There's 14 tracks. The producers on the album. Like I said, Brand Nubian, they did all of the production except for Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down, which was produced by Diamond D. Shout out to Diamond D. I do have his Sons Blows a Hip Hop album. I have to do a review on that joint too, so stay tuned for that. Alright, you know how I get down. I'm gonna go through some of the tracks, break down some of the tracks and stuff like that. You know how I get down. Alright, first track, Allahu Akbar, which was the second single of the album. Fucking love that song, man. I mean, it's such you hear a dude chant to Allahu Akbar, and like the beat is just so menacing, it's so dark and gritty, man. It's just so dark, and the drums hitting so hard and stuff like that. Like I said, it really sets the tone of the album. Like even the video is dope too. Like you see them cats, they're sitting down in the classroom. You see the older guys, preaching the knowledge and stuff like that. And you see them cats just plotting and shit, you know what I'm saying? And like they all geared up in like camouflage. They get guns and shit like that. Dope video. I fucking love the video for that shit. They couldn't make shit like that today, especially how everything's so PC. But it's like a braggadocio track. It's like a gangster track and shit like that. Very, very, very dope, man. It's kind of like you the type of like if you about to plot something and shit like that, like you about to plot, just like do some like heist type of shit. That's the perfect song to play. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit I get from that. Track 2, Ain't No Mystery. Pretty interesting track. He's talking about how, they both talking about how people praise God and stuff like that, people's obsession over God and stuff like that. But you know, they're saying like there is no such thing as a God. You know, they're saying like black man is God, all that, you know, oh God's gonna save me and all that shit, like all that stuff. You know, that's all nonsense. It's all fairy tale. That's what I got from that. You know, and then there was a line where it was, Sadat, I think Sadat said like how Jesus was black. You know what I mean? He wasn't white. Like all that, the European, like the white Jesus that everybody knows about is, you know, like the Roman is the Roman it's like the Roman interpretation or the European interpretation of what Jesus looked like. But you know, if you read the Bible, you know, you'll know that, you know, Jesus' hair was made of wool, you know, and then as you can see here, you know what I mean, it talks about that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean to be all religious and stuff, but that's pretty much what he's talking about. I'm just paraphrasing what they're talking about. But that's what I got with Ain't No Mystery. Track 3, Meaning of the 5%. That's like more like an interlude. It's not really a song, it's an interlude. You just hear like a beat, like an instrumental, and then you have like one of the Nation of Islam leaders like just like speaking and stuff like that, just, you know, preaching the knowledge, and that's what you get with Meaning of the 5%. Track 4, Pastor Gat, fucking love that track, yo. That shit is so ill. I mean, it's self-explanatory, man. Just like, you know, just dedicated to guns and shit like that, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, gun boasting and all that shit. That is a gangster track, you know what I mean? Fucking love that joint right there, man. Definitely sets the tone. Like I said, man, very, very, very dope, man. This is Pastor Gat, whew, that beat, man. Oh my god, so ill. Track 5, Black Star Line featuring Red Fox. I forgot to mention the features. Red Fox, he's only feature, which is dope. For those who don't know who Red Fox is, he was a Jamaican DJ or a Jamaican singer from the early 90s. He was really big back in the early 90s. He actually had an album out back in, I think, 93. He had his one song, the single I believe was You Can't Test Me Again, some shit like that. Yo, that shit is so ill. I don't have that album. I have it digitally, but I don't have the physical. I would like to get it, but the thing with a lot of dancehall albums from the 90s, a lot of them are out of print and hard to come by because a lot of them weren't distributed here in the States. A lot of them were made back in like, you know, in Jamaica and stuff like that, and they were like shipped here, but like they were like limited copies and stuff like that. So it's like one of those things that you had to get your hands on the quickness, otherwise you're not gonna get it for a while, you know what I'm saying? Or you would have to like special order it from, you know, from whatever store you get it from, and you get it. But anyways, yeah, Black Star Line, pretty dope track. It's just pretty much embracing black power, like black empowerment, you know, embracing Africa and stuff like that. Red Fox actually stole the show on that track, you know what I mean? He talks about how he was born in Jamaica. He's bigging up Marcus Garvey and stuff like that. It was so ill, like, it might as well be his song. It should have been on his album. I don't know if that song is actually on his album. I don't think so. But I love the beat. The beat has like a real reggae, dancehall vibe to it. The bass line, you know how bass lines back in the day with dancehall was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you hear the beat, you can tell it's a reggae style beat, but it sounds dope. It's really dope. I really like that joint a lot. Like I said, Red Fox, he stole the show with that joint. Track 6, Allah and Justice. That's more of an interlude, but you know, just praising, like, you know, speaking of knowledge, you know, the knowledge and shit like that. But they do it in a way it was kind of like dope. They're doing like in a melodic, harmonizing type of way. Both artists, Lord Jamar and Sadat X, and they do it well. I actually like that. Track 7, The Gods. Parentheses, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Fucking love that track. Lord Jamar, he had a line which is controversial. You know what I'm saying? Might be offended. You might be offended by this, but like he said, where like he said, like, you know, because he has dreadlocks, and he said like like society, like society wants him to be clean cut and stuff like that, like the Greeks, because like cats they rock the Caesar, that's from the Greeks, but then he's like, yo, the Greeks were fucking freaks, or gay niggas, you know what I'm saying? Because like there was a lot of controversy saying like the Greeks back in those times were a lot of them were homosexuals, like they were. I'm not really get you guys get what I'm saying with that, you know what I'm saying, and that's what he talks about with the Greeks, and he's just saying like how this is pretty much bashing religion on this whole track. Fucking love that shit, you know what I mean? They definitely go in, and it's pretty dope. Like they all do their thing. Track 8, the Travel Jam, fucking love that track. That's more like a back and forth type of track. Like they really do their things. Like the way they do it is so ill. Travel Jam is pretty much just a 1 second.
Don't you ever.
My bad. Alright. Yeah, so the track 8, the Travel Jam, it's pretty dope. Like I said, it's them going back and forth, like a back and forth kind of flow. Kinda like a Together Forever type of joint. Or yeah, like Together Forever by Run DMC. But it pretty much shows about how like the process of them going on tour. Like just them waking up early in the crack ass in the morning, early crack ass in the morning, and just like the process they go through, like going through the airport, like yo, don't forget to bring this, bring that, and then when they go to town, they go to the hotel, they roll up, smoke their weed and stuff like that, get with the groupies and stuff like that. It's just so dope, like how they flip that. It's pretty dope. Love that track. Track 9, Brand New Me, Rock the Set. That was okay. It was just like it's just like a braggadocio type of track, pretty dope. Track 10, Love Me or Leave Me Alone, which was the third and final single off the album. Actually, sorry about that. That was my phone. Love Me or Leave Me Alone, like I said, that was the last single off the album. I remember hearing that song a lot back in the early 90s. I was 6 years old back in 93, because that's when the single came out in 93. And they used to play the living shit of that song on the radio. Back when, radio was radio, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, dope song. It's pretty much like a ladies type of track, but it's not corny. It's pretty cool. It's like, it's just cats trying to holler at the chicks and stuff like that. You know how that shit go. That's pretty much what I got from the track. Pretty dope. The remix of Love Me or Leave Me Alone, whoa, fucking sick. I'll post that down in the description box. Still Your Hoe, track 11, self-explanatory, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much like, yeah, self-explanatory. I don't really need to get into that. Track 12, Steady Bootlegging. Pretty dope track. It just shows about these fucking bootleggers that, because back in the day, this is before we had internet, you know what I mean? We had internet, but it wasn't internet that we have now, because back then, internet was like, it wasn't widely accessible like it is now, and most of the internet was like text-based, text-based anyways. But anyways, with Steady Bootlegging, they're talking about how, you got these fucking bootleggers back in the day, setting up in the table and selling bootleg copies of their albums and stuff like that, and that's what they talk about, you know what I mean? Back in the day, like you had cats, like actual artists, like going up to the bootleggers and beating them up, like throwing down their tables and shit like that, like just throwing up all the tables and shit. Like you're not supporting the artists, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Just beating them up and stuff like that. Perfect example of that. There's MOP. They had a DVD out called Straight from the Projects, and then you see like Little Fame or Billy Danze had a bat, and they going up to the bootlegger, and they just come up to the dude like, yo, don't be bootlegging my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just so gangster. Like those dudes are really about that. You know, and they pretty dope. Um, Track 13, Black and Blue. It's pretty much sort of about hatred for cops. You know, police brutality and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty dope track. I really like that joint like there because I could relate to that shit. You know what I mean? Like, because I've been racially profiled by cops before, so it's not a good feeling. So it's kind of like, not that I have like a hatred towards cops, but like because I have friends that are cops, but it's just like I just don't trust the majority of cops. Just, you know, just the fact that they know they have that power against the people, that they can just try to abuse their authority, and that's the shit I don't like. You know what I'm saying? So that's the shit I don't like. Track 14, Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down, which was the first single of the album. Fucking love that joint. Just a little disclaimer: this version is not the one with the Lou Donaldson sample. Yeah, it's not the one with the Lou Donaldson sample. That, you know, the video version. It's not that version. It's a completely different. It's a different version. Like it's a lot more harder. It's more like it still uses the, you know, it still, like in the beginning it still uses the Rocky sample, but then like the main sample is like a bass line, and then like Diamond D definitely did his thing on that joint. That song caused a lot of controversy back in the day because, you know, it was considered like gay bashing and stuff like that because just saying like how, you know, Sadak said like I ain't down with gays, that I don't get down like that, you know, that shit ain't me, da da da. But it's the way he said it, you know, it just kind of like, you know, caused a lot of controversy in the gay community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have nothing against gay people, but, you know, just what it, you know, talks about. But yeah, that's it, folks. That's the album. My verdict on the album: love this album. In my opinion, to me, I think it's their best album. In my opinion, it's my favorite album from Brand Nubian. I know some people might say One for All, some people might say Everything is Everything, some people might say Foundation. I would have to say this is my favorite album for them. Just like this is the fuck. Yeah, like I said, very dope album, man. Like I said, this album right here, like, it's like, you know, cause you know, like most groups, like, you know, when they break up and then they get together, I mean, when they break up or like they do their second album, it's usually like their first album is their best album, and then the whole sophomore jinx shit. My philosophy with the sophomore jinx stuff is because the only reason why it might be a sophomore jinx is because, you know, different writers, different producers that weren't on the first album might not be the same, or the different direction. It just depends on the artist, but that's not the case with this because, like I said, they broke up. Grand Puba left the group. Same with DJ Alamo. And you would think like, oh, Grand Puba, because he was like the star of the group. Like, people like, oh man, like Brand Nubian, like damn, they didn't get to be shit without Grand Puba. But that's not the case with this joint right here. If anything, I feel like this album was a lot better than One for All. I do like One for All, but this album right here, like, they definitely stepped their game up on production wise and lyrically. This album, like, you just feel the anger in this album. You could tell they were still angry with Grand Puba. They were like, the anger with the breakup and stuff like that. Like, you could feel that shit. You know what I mean? And I love this album. The production, everything about it. I could listen to this whole album without skipping a track. Yeah, man, this album right here, very dope. Yeah, like I said, Lord Jamar definitely steals a show on this album. He definitely shines on this whole album. Like I said, he definitely stepped his game up on this album, man, and I fucking love it, man. I mean, the whole dark vibe of the album, you can't go wrong with this album. Yeah, In God We Trust by Brand Nubian, released 1992. I believe this album's actually out of print, so it might be a little hard to find, but it shouldn't be too expensive to find. But yeah, man, I highly recommend it. This album, I know I'm gonna cause a lot of controversy for this, but this album right here will be the perfect soundtrack for the angry black man. Straight up, man. You know, you meet some of those cats before. Angry black man that hates the white man and all that shit. This would be the perfect album for this brother, man. Very, very dope, man. Very dark, very grimy, angry. You know what I mean? I love that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely their best produced album, in my opinion. And what's great about that, they do the production all themselves, except for Diamond D. And that's it, folks. Stay tuned for more reviews, beat videos, all that good stuff. Rants. Stay tuned for more. Peace.